This is Late Tea Time, the golf betting podcast that finds the best betting value closer to the first shot being struck than anyone else.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.
And hello, Late Tea Time podders everywhere. I am James, and I will be joined in just a second by Dave Tindall, who's going to admire my very nice new wallpaper, Mr. T. I'm in a swanky place today.
It's good, isn't it? I've got a wallpaper that looks like a door.
Well, I think it probably is a door. These podcasts, it's worth saying, these podcasts are done by Sports Broadcast Media, who we've got an association with, and these are our studios. I'm in here to do the Champions League this evening. I'm talking to you ahead of such like, and today we are talking about the BMW PGA Championship coming up over the next few days. Our MO on this podcast, for those that haven't seen it before, is that we come to you on a Wednesday as late as possible so that the man alongside me can wrap his gargantuan golfing brain around all of the latest rumours, news and information from the courses and what have you. Has that led us anywhere, DT, this time?
Yeah, well, I'll start with a quick update from the course. Tommy Fleetwood's team won the Pro-Am, if that counts for anything. Yeah, says yes. Tommy Fleetwood's striking it quite well. It's out there on the course today. So his team of four, they won the Pro-Am, beating Billy Horschel's team. So that's that. But I think one thing we can't get away from this week, which is annoying because I can't be doing with it. So we have to talk about the Live Tour this week because.
Oh dear. That's been persona non grata for the last few weeks. Yeah,
because you can't get away from it because the 17 Live players have turned up to play this because they're not banned, you see, by the European or DP World Tour. So 17 of them have turned up, and it's caused a right old ruckus.
I've missed all this. I've not been paying attention, DT. So what's been going on? Has it been fisticuffs at dawn?
Well, it's just so whoever they interviewed on the kind of on the other side, like Rory and Shane Lowry, what do you feel about them being in the field? And I think Lowry said, I hate some of them being here. Really? Rory said he doesn't want them here. And then the journalists have said, what happens if it's the final day and you're up against a Live player down the stretch? Will you be more determined? And Rory can't help but get in the jibe that he said, well, they'll be tied because it's more than 54 holes. So he keeps going with that gag. Matt Fitzpatrick has also been asked about it. And I think he's more of this just ask me something else sort of thing. I've won the US Open recently. Ask me about that or ask me about this week. So he's sort of one that can't really be doing with it. But yeah, I think we have to address it because I think it's relevant to who I might pick.
Well, it's more than a sideshow, that, isn't it? I mean, if Shane Lowry, who's quite a mild-mannered beastie, is saying that he hates them being there, that's quite a strong statement, isn't it?
Yeah, and Rory's hinting that relationships have kind of broken down and stuff like that. And he was asked about what happens if they could be future Ryder Cup members, and Rory sort of brushed it aside and said, well, they've kind of done their bit in the Ryder Cup. We're looking ahead to, the future generation. So he's clearly got to him, but it's interesting because I think somebody said, what could I pay to not ask you about Live this week? And he just said, no, bring it on. Ask me. So he wants to get the message out. But yeah, and then Keith Pelly, the chief exec of I think that's the right, going to the right title, of the DP World Tour. He's come out and sort of defended everything and just said it's just the way they speak, the Live Tour. It's sort of stop. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? We used to sort of laugh at North Korea and how ridiculously biased it all is and the propaganda. And now we see it in our daily politics. Spoiler alert: I'm not a conservative, so I see it all the time. It's just unbelievable what's going on right in front of our eyes. The absolute propaganda nonsense, and it's coming out in this Live Tour as well.
I mean, just to go away from the Live Tour and golf for a second, I do cricket a lot, and the 100 is not my favourite tournament because I think it's taking up a lot of the season, and it is not there for the right reasons, put it that way. And I see it all the time when you on the very weak moments where I've watched a little bit or a clip on Twitter, a very good catch becomes the greatest catch that somebody's ever seen.
Yeah.
They are so programmed to big it up to high heaven. It actually, I think, it spoils it. And a lot of people have said that the commentary is so over the top, it's actually spoiling the watch.
Yeah, if it's a good enough product, it will stand by itself. You don't have to, you don't have to go all Kim Jong-il about it and claim, that it's all crazy and there's, everyone's going to get a hole in one and everything. It's just stop it. Stop saying it's the best atmosphere that's ever happened. It isn't. So
So this is going on around the edges, so actually down the fairways of this tournament.
Down the middle, yeah.
Yeah. And how does that change how we look at this in terms of a betting prospect then? I'll tell you what, I'll give you the top end of the lead. I'll give you the top end of the markets before you get into that. 6-1 for Rory. John Rahm is 17-2. You got Matthew Fitzpatrick in there at 12. Shane Lowry's 16s. 18-1 for Victor Hovland. Billy Horschel is 28. 28 for Tommy Fleetwood. And 30-1 for Adam Scott. So that's the top end. How does it change this kind of story within a play within a play kind of thing? How does it change the way you look at this?
Yeah, I'll start sort of with the second bet kind of first, because it was meant to be 18 live players that were playing this week, but one of them, Martin Keimer, is kind of a good guy, and it's like, when someone you think, oh, why did they have to join it? But he said, well, I'm not playing this week because I won't feel welcome. So he doesn't want to be doing with it.
Has it, just before you carry on, has it actually spoilt your opinion of people that you actually really felt? Because when you're covering a sport, you feel quite warm towards certain individuals, don't you? Do you feel let down sometimes when you see, oh, he's gone now? Oh, why did it have to be you?
Personally, yeah, I do. I mean, and I'm not saying that's, everyone should feel let down or that's the right answer to this. Just me personally, you've asked that question to me. Yeah, I rightly or wrongly, I feel a bit cheated by it or let down because I can't really see, in my view, a proper justification.
Please stay with us, Victor Hovland and Colin Morikawa. Please stay with us.
Yeah, well, more on one of those later. But in terms of Keimer sort of thought, well, I don't want to be somewhere where I'm not welcome. Yeah. Now, if there's one live player that I think is quite thin-skinned rather than thick-skinned and needs to be loved, it's Sergio Garcia. Now, he is here, and I think he won't like this at all. He's come out and said, I want to play where I'm wanted. Well, you're not wanted this week, matey, by a lot of people, unfortunately. And I think that's going to sort of bleed through into his golf. Someone could have said, oh, well, I saw him in practice today, was brilliant, but that may be true or not true. But I think once the tournament starts and he senses the ill feeling, I think he's in trouble. So ideally, you'd want to put him in a match bet against like a non-live player. But yeah, I think the bookies are, they kind of know what they're doing. So, but they put him in with Patrick Reed. Now, we talked about Sergio being thin-skinned. If there's a thick-skinned golfer out there, it's Patrick Reed. So he's been taking it all his life. People chucking flack at him, and often with justification. But it's kind of water off a duck's back for Patrick Reed. He's one of these, maybe like thinking back to tennis, like McEnroe in the 80s. The more you fling at him, the more he kind of come on, I'll bring it on, sort of thing. So they're in a match bet, but and Reed's got a really good record in this course. Sergio has, but from a long way back. But
you mentioned during the Open that Patrick Reed was actually wearing a live cap, so he's kind of embracing that kind of atmosphere, isn't he? Where Sergio tends to ride on a wave of adulation, doesn't he? Because people love him.
Sergio likes to be loved, and he's not going to get his love this week. It's just the way it is. So it's almost like the perfect match bet. It's like thin skin versus thick skin match bet. I think Reed is it's basically a pick 'em 9 to 10. So Reed's played really well here the last few years. He's not in an amazing form, but I just think that is a big old factor this week. It's one that, it's not, you can look through all the numbers you like and you're not going to find your answer there. But in terms of psychologically, which is a big thing in golf, I think it's a huge factor.
So that's our first pick then, Patrick Reed to take down Sergio Garcia. Is that over a 72-hole match bet?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's 9 to 10 or there or thereabouts for Patrick Reed. Is that with a particular bookie?
That is with Betfair.
With Betfair, okay.
I think, or is it with William Hill?
One of the two, then. One of the two.
It's out there, but to be honest, if you could find any match bet involving Sergio, I think it's worth looking at the other guy.
Yeah,
because they'll be matched up. They'll be matched up on their form and their course form, current form. That they'll be matched up on those levels. So he's not going to be paired with someone crazy, or he's not with Rory. He's not with someone Wade. So it will look a match to begin with, but then I say Sergio, of all the players this week who needs the love and he's not getting it, it's Sergio.
It's going to be strange for him, isn't it? It's going to be really strange for him. So that's the first pick, Sergio to beat Patrick Reed. You mentioned you had two bets. So where are we going with the other bet?
Yeah, we will go for the outrights. And so far, if you look at who they bought in for interview, they bought in Rory, who's talked a lot. They bought in John Rahm, Matt Fitzpatrick, the obvious names. But they haven't bought in Victor Hovland. So I just wonder, although Rory's sort of seems up for the fight, as it were, and he wants to answer questions, he's getting a lot of it going at him this week, a lot of draws on his time. I just wonder if Hovland can sneak under the radar a little bit. And he's not one, he's just kind of not particularly outspoken sort of guy. He just sort of smiles a lot. So he's not one. It's hard to be angry with Victor Hovland about anything, I think.
Right, so that's why he's our friend, isn't it, on the podcast? Yeah,
so he's just not a confrontational character. So I don't think he'll have any, I guess, journalists won't be making a beeline. Let's see what Victor has to say, because he's there's nothing amazing that's going to come out of him, really, where Rory is kind of gold dust, isn't he, for quotes.
I mean, Rory's used to that, isn't he? Because he gets that pretty much wherever he goes. But it's been ramped up since the live stuff, hasn't it?
Yeah, and there's certainly, if you go the other way, there's an argument that he will want to show them all this week by winning, but his price isn't big enough, to be honest.
Well, so Victor Hovland, 18 to 1, 8 places with the likes of William Hill. That's not too bad.
No, because if you think the last time we saw Victor Hovland on these shores, he was the 54-hole leader in the Open Championship at St Andrews. If you remember, he played great, didn't he? Those middle two rounds of 66. And then he's played a few times since, done nothing really wrong. And he was sort of midfield in the Tour Championship, but he did get better each day there. He closed 68, 67, 65. And his numbers started to look good again, started to hit the ball better. His strokes gained approach numbers were good. So, yeah, he's done well when he's come back over to the DP World Tour. And again, he's got that, he's probably got like an inner sense that he wants to prove that he's done the right thing. But yeah, I think there's just some more calmness around him this week. And I think it might be the door might be open for him just to slip through it.
We need to get some kind of sting, don't we? My mate, when we mention certain people. But,
so you'll be pleased that I picked him anyway.
Yeah, I'll be cheering Victor Hovland on. Victor Hovland and Colin Morikawa have a special place in my heart as we follow the golf through the year. So Victor Hovland, 18 to 1, 8 places with William Hill and Coral, and possibly a few others as well. And obviously, we're looking to oppose Sergio Garcia. If you find a match bet over the 72 holes, which involves Sergio, take the opponent. But in this instance, we're looking at Patrick Reed to beat Sergio Garcia 9 to 10 with, we think, either Betfair or William Hill. You can find them, have a scoot around on whatever site you use to place your bets, and you'll find some kind of bet against Sergio, I am sure. DT, as always, thank you very much for your time.
just quickly on that, maybe if you want to make it all about Sergio, I think he's about 19-10 to miss the cut.
Yeah.
So that's another way in, possibly, with him.
It's not the daftest bet, that, is it? Because he does, as we've seen everywhere over the last 15 years or whatever, whenever he appears on a tee, he gets rapturous applause. That might not be quite the same. I'll tell you what, as well, it gives you an extra reason to watch it this week, doesn't it? Because there's going to be some interesting little things going on around the course. If you want to watch the golf this weekend, there could be a lot going on at the BMW PGA Championship. Of course, out there, everybody, gamble responsibly. Look after yourselves and gamble for fun, and hopefully we get some winning bets over the next few days. DT, again, thank you very much for your time. I will turn you off and say goodbye now. We'll get into football mode in the studio, and enjoy the golf, everybody. And well, hopefully, as I say, we'll get some winning bets as we go through. I am going to put the exit overlay on over the top of both of us, and we can say goodbye to you with a little bit of music as well. Where is it? Where's the music gone? He says filling in, trying to find the music. Where are you gone? Here we go.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.